Are you mad?
It's the charitable thing to do, Haywood.
Dutton House is not a foundling home. There are orphanages for this sort of thing. How do you know she isn't a runaway?
Well, we don't. And there's no way of finding out until after the holidays, is there? Besides, every child deserves a Merry Christmas. Isn't that right, Molly?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, all right. The child can stay for a few days. But only until the proper authorities are notified.
She's not coming to the party, is she?
Oh, don't worry, Lindsay. She won't steal your dance card.
You rang, sir.
Bridges, would you take, what's her name?
Molly.
Molly, down to Edith. See that she's cared for, and strictly supervise. I don't want her tramping about the house, getting into things.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's settled. If the office calls, I'll be in the billiard room.
Bridges,
Yes, madam.
ask Edith to look in the charity box for some clothes. I think Molly might fit into one of Lindsay's old middies.
Certainly, madam. Come along, Molly.
Thank you, Mrs. Dutton. You're a very nice lady.
She's a smooth little operator.
Jealous?
Oh, you two, please act your age.
Well, Lindsay tries, Mother. But it's difficult to talk and suck your thumb at the same time.
He didn't bat an eye at the price. He just pointed to the fur and he said, wrap it up.
Mr. Dutton loves the missus and doesn't think anything about turning people out of their homes.
Hush now, Fanula. I know you have people in Fennel Street, but if it wasn't for Mr. Dutton, you'd have been off the boat without a penny to your name.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you, no.
And would you rather have us cower like whipped puppies, Patrick, and not stand up for what's right?
You're paid to work, Fanula. Save your politics for Sunday in the park.
Well, who do we have here, Mr. Bridges?
Her name's Molly. Take her and keep her busy. Tidy her up. She'll be staying for a few days. Is Mr. Neville's tray ready?
I added a little hair of the dog.
You could throw in the tail. I doubt it would help.
Well, let's have a look at you. When was the last time you had a bath, dearie?
It's been a long time.
Peg, Fanula, give her a good scrubbing. And when you're finished, I'll fix her a nice bath.
Just what we need. It's the busiest day of the year and we're stuck babysitting Raggedy Ann.
Oh, to be sure. You have your hands full with Peg and Fanula.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, don't play coy with me, Patrick. I see you flirting away with the two of them. Now, one of these days, you're going to have to make a choice. And it may be sooner than you think.
Jamie, I have a Santa Claus for you.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho! Ha, ha, ha! Ho, ho.
What are you doing up there? The doctor told you to take it easy.
I'm not a China doll, Joe.
Oh, yes, you are.
You're frisky today. Something tells me you're on to a start.
What do you mean?
Whenever you're full of yourself, you get lovey-dovey, and I get no sleep.
Never marry an Irish girl, Jamie.
Uh-oh.
What? What is it?
Oh, the baby's got the hiccups, is all.
Hiccups.
Now tell me, what's up?
Oh, David shot a great picture this morning. A little match girl that he found in Fennel Street, right in the middle of everything. Nobody knows, and what is worse, nobody cares. But by tonight, I'm going to have everybody in Port City trying to get a roof over her head. Respect. I have a meeting that I have to get to down at DeCarlo's grocery.
Joe?
Mary Margaret, it's important.
And keeping your promise to your family isn't. It's Christmas Eve, Joe.
Look, I am sorry, but I wasn't counting on my father pulling the rug out from under these people.
If you really want to help, why don't you sit down with the man face to face instead of taking potshots at him in the paper?
He hasn't said a word to me in 5 years, Mary Margaret. What makes you think he's going to listen to me now?
You're awfully hard on your father, Joe.
Well, he's hard on me.
I don't want to argue. Go if you have to. Just try and be back in time for supper.
Now, you take care of your mom, sport.
Come on, Jamie. Let's decorate the tree.
You sure do have a lot of Christmas stuff.
That's because I've seen a lot of Christmases. We used to make such a fuss over the holidays. The children and I would spend months making ornaments. And then the minute December arrived, we'd start decorating the whole house. Red ribbons and pine boughs all up and down the banisters. Great big holly ball out in the entryway. There wasn't a nook or cranny that didn't have a Santa Claus or a candy cane in it.
Wow.
And Haywood and the boys would spend hours tramping over the hills looking for the perfect tree.
Doesn't anybody help you decorate anymore?
Oh, goodness, no. They're all too busy doing what they do. No, now I just call up the florist, and it's all done in about an hour. But I don't mind telling you, it's very nice having a little girl as a helper this year.
What's this?
This was Neville's first stocking. I made it myself. Believe it or not, Neville was a very sweet little boy.
This is a pretty one.
Now, this was Lindsay's when she was 8 years old. She was very particular about the colors she wanted. Lindsay's always been very particular.
Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Who's Joe?
Joe's my eldest son.
Is he going to be at the party?
No. Joe isn't allowed in the house.
Did you do something wrong?
That's hard to say, really. You see, Haywood wouldn't allow Mary Margaret into the family. He said it was an inappropriate marriage for a Dutton.
Inappropriate? What does that mean?
That means Protestant boys from Timber Hill don't marry Catholic girls from the South Side.
That's silly.
I tried to reason with the two of them, but they wouldn't even speak to each other. I think the trouble really began when Joe turned his back on the business. You see, Haywood had such high hopes for him in the company, and when Joe decided to go his own way, I think it hurt Haywood more than he ever let on.
Sounds like they're both pretty stubborn.
You're a smart little girl. I made this one 4 years ago, when I heard Mary Margaret and Joe were expecting. They had a baby boy, Jamie, after her father. It's silly, but I actually thought the baby might change things.
over there, Bricktop!
Molly, you may go. Greta Sweeney will be at the party tonight, Neville.
That old scandal queen.
Now listen to me. I am sick and tired of your escapades. I want you sober and civil tonight. Walter Churchfield will be here. And while I'm with him...
Don't tell me you're gonna try and sell him that Fennel Street dump over cookies and eggnog.
This isn't a game, Neville. If Churchfield signs on the dotted line, it'll mean hundreds of thousands.
Don't we already have thousands of thousands?
I cannot afford any incidents. I want my family spotless. Understand?
Don't worry, Father. I'll wash behind the ears.
Good. I'm glad we understand each other. Tell your mother I'll be in the billiard room.
It's Joe Dutton up there.
I know.
He said he wasn't going to make any trouble.
This is America, darling. There is no law against stupidity.
Hayward Dutton's bound to find out.
I know he will. Because I'm the one that's going to tell him.
Here we are.
Merry Christmas, Bridget.
Oh, don't spoil the help, Sam. It's hard on all the rest of us.
Thank you very much, sir.
I'd like you to help me butter up Walter Churchfield this evening.
You think he's really interested in Fennel Street?
It's good income property at a fair price. He'd be a fool to pass it by.
What about your tenants?
I gave them 60 days' notice on the 1st. They can either move out or take their chances with the new landlord. The local precinct chief is keeping an eye on things for me. So far, so good. Murphy tells me that everything seems to be running smoothly.
It's not the way the Dispatch paints it.
The Dispatch paints everything yellow. You should know that by now, Sam. A few renters have made appeals. It's nothing to worry about. The property's mine. I have a right to sell it.
There's a telephone call for you, sir.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry to disturb you, Mr. Dutton, but you told me to let you know if there was any trouble down Fennel Street.
What? But I gave them fair notice. We're within our legal rights. Don't they understand?
Well, they're simple people, sir. They believe what they read in the papers, if you catch my drift. Yeah, I'm afraid so, sir. Joe's been pretty hard line lately, and now he's out on the street with them. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I saw him with my own eyes. Yeah, well, before I take any action, I thought I'd chat with you, sir. Being as how he's your son, and it's the holidays and everything, I might go easy on him.
Well, I appreciate your offer, Murphy. But if he's determined to stir up trouble, then you have no choice. Do your duty. You heard me. If my son has no respect for his family, then maybe spending a night in jail will teach him some respect for law and order.
Bobby. Hello, Kennelly. Joe, you're under arrest.
On what charge?
Trespassing.
Try another one, Chief. Nobody around here has filed any complaints.
Nobody around here owns the street.
Public street. My father's having me arrested.
He said a night in jail might do you some good. And if you don't put that hammer down, I'll throw in assaulting an officer.
Those charges won't stick, and you know it. I've got too many witnesses.
Call off this rally. Shut your presses. There's no need for this to go any further.
Forget it.
Donnelly.
Murphy. His wife's gonna have the baby any minute. Don't put him away now. She needs us.
You should have thought about that this morning. Book him, Donnelly. Trespassing and assault.
Tell my father he's not gonna get away with this.
He already has. This rally is over. I give you 1 hour to clear this street. Anyone left grumbling? It's the Christmas pie in jail.
Molly, why don't you go and get the Christmas logs for the fire? And we'll take them up to the missus in a minute.
Mr. Bridges wasn't too happy when he found me upstairs.
Well, never you mind about Mr. Bridges. He's not the only one who gives the orders around here. Now, run along, child. Dutton House, this is Edith. Speak up. You sound like you're in a pickle barrel. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Joe's in jail. Come along, child.
Oh, there you are, Edith. Would you tell Bridges I think the milkman has overcharged us again?
Yes, ma'am. Molly, put the logs in the fireplace.
What is it, Edith? Nothing gone wrong with the dinner, I hope.
No, ma'am. It's Joe.
Joe?
He's in jail, ma'am. Something about Fennel Street.
And Mary Margaret?
The baby could come any time. They're poor as mice, and her family has nothing. How will she ever get him out of jail?
There must be something I can do.
But you tried before, ma'am, and Joe's turned it all away. Don't dare to think what Mr. Dutton would do if he ever found out.
I know, Edith, but I can't just sit idly by and let them lock my son up like some drunken sailor. Edith, tell Patrick to bring the car around.
Oh, you're not going down to the station, ma'am, in broad daylight. Somebody might see you.
No one will see me. Don't worry. Get your coat. We haven't much time.
But the dinner, ma'am. There's a million things to do still. And Bridges would suspect something's up if I left the pudding to Peg and Fanula.
Molly, can you keep a secret?
Yes, ma'am.
Good, because you're coming with me.
The camera, Lefkowitz, and make it snappy.
Hello, the guy.
I got to get home here. Let's go.
Good, huh? Hey, keep it down in there now. All right, come on through.
How's Mary Margaret?
I don't know. I ran down here as soon as I heard.
Tell her I'm fine, David. Don't let her get upset about this. And make sure she's not alone tonight.
Don't worry. I'll check on her when I get back.
I sure picked a swell time to get locked up.
Hey, you're not going to miss the baby. We'll get you out of here. We already started raising your bail. I had no idea you were such an expensive guy.
If anything happens to Mary Margaret while I'm in here, I swear my father's going to pay. I want that little girl's picture on the front page tonight, you understand? I want a big story on Fennel Street, and I want everybody in town to know that Haywood Dutton threw his own son in jail. You got that?
You got it, Joe. Relax. I'll take care of everything. You just enjoy the fine dining in here. There.
Tell Mary Margaret I love her.
Neville, have you seen my blue handbag? What are you doing?
Smell that, Lindsay. That's Christmas.
Go upstairs and get dressed, for God's sake. Where's Mother? It's late. She promised to do my hair for the party.
Is this what you're after?
Give me that!
It clashes. One compact, one change purse, an old ballet ticket, one lipstick, petal pink, something that looks like a stale lozenge, and a white lace hanky.
Where are my lemon drops? You're impossible.
Somebody has to be.
This is where Joe lives.
Eat this, Jamie, then we'll go visit Rita downstairs at the newspaper. Coming.
Hello, Mary Margaret. May we come in?
Please.
This is Molly.
Pleased to meet you.
Hello, Molly.
Is this Jamie?
He's almost 3.
Hi.
I had no idea he looked so much like Joe.
That's what everyone says. Jamie, say hello to your Grandma Frances.
Oh, Jamie. If your Grandpa Haywood could see you, this whole nasty mess would be over in an instant.
Would you like some tea?
No, there isn't time. Mary Margaret, Joe's been arrested.
What?
Yes, I brought the money for his bail. The car's waiting outside to take us to the station.
I appreciate what you're doing, Mrs. Dutton, but I can't take the money. Joe would never forgive me.
Dear, don't you think Joe would rather be home tonight with you and the baby?
Yes, but...
Mary Margaret, there comes a time when a wife has to turn a blind eye to her husband's pride and do what's best for her family. If I thought for one instant about Haywood at a time like this, I wouldn't be here.
You're right. Thank you.